conversation around how long you're supposed to sleep for.
Yep.
What's the truth here?
8 hours is a myth. Let's be fair. Like, we came up with that from like the 30s. There was a great study at Stanford that came up with 8 hours and 13 minutes plus or minus, and that's kind of where we came up with that as an idea. The truth of the matter is, somewhere between 7 and 9 hours really is kind of the amount that people should be looking for. But some people don't have that luxury. Some people don't have that much time that they can put towards sleep, and so they get a little bit less sleep. But for the lower level limit, I don't like anybody getting less than 6 hours. When somebody gets less than 6 hours sleep, their driving is off, and so you can't operate machinery. So if you're driving to work, or God forbid, carpooling your kids to school, and you only got less than 6 hours of sleep on board, it's probably not going to go well.
We do have to stop here and talk about parents, because listen, you're either a parent now, you might be someday.
Absolutely.
Maybe you won't be, but for those, I've just got a huge amount of respect for parents, because I'm not a parent yet. I hope I will become one. But when I see what my brother, who has 3 kids under the age of 7 now,
how much sleep has he lost?
A lot, and his wife as well. But you must get parents coming to you all the time being like, what the hell do I do? Like, I've got to wake up when the kids wake up, but it's destroying my relationship, my marriage, my sex, whatever it might be.
Yeah. So parenting children and sleep are difficult to coexist, but they're not impossible. It really has to do with discipline and kind of thinking through some ideas for yourself. When so I have a 23-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter. So I'm a little bit out of the realm of having to deal with them every day. But I was, like I said before, I was in charge of mornings at our house, waking them up. And it's a lot, right? And so the very first thing that I try to explain to parents, especially if they have a child who has an irregular sleep pattern and is really causing chaos for the rest, like one child who won't go to sleep and it's keeping the whole house up. First thing you want to do, educate the kid. Right? A lot of kids don't know what they're doing is causing a lot of problems. They're just kids. They're just hanging out, having fun. They've got energy. They want to be awake. So that you want to educate them and say, hey, now is a particular time to wind down. This is where your body recovers. This is how you get to do sports the next day, or theater the next day, or whatever your whatever your thing is. You can tie it to sleep and performance pretty easily. And so getting them to understand that becomes very, very critical. Number 2 is have some guidelines, right? Have bedtimes, have wake-up times, and follow them as closely as you can. For parents, oftentimes what I try to tell them to do is like, look, after your child goes to bed, if you've got a child that has problems for sleeping, take turns. Do what I call the on-call method. So as a doctor, sometimes, you get a call in the middle of the night because you're covering patients at the hospital for your buddy or something like that. You're on call. So when you've got 2 people who are managing one child, one person handles Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday night. The other one handles Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You flip a coin for Sunday. So if the kid wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning, both parents aren't awake. One parent has that responsibility. The other one can keep their eyes closed and go to sleep. Interesting study was done looking at men and women in bed when a child cries. So women take care of the child, whereas men lie there and fake sleeping in order to be able to stay asleep. Right. That's problematic. In a lot of different ways.
How did they know in the study that they were fake sleeping?
Because they asked the men afterwards, what were you doing? And they all said they woke up and they were faking it. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. But this is a big deal for parents, right? A lot of parents turn to me and they're like, this is killing our marriage. Like, we haven't had sex in 3 years because we've got a child who maybe the child has special needs, or maybe the child doesn't have special needs but has other things going on, or maybe it's just normal development, and they're worried about it. And so what I like to sit down with parents and do is, number 1, let's figure out when your kid needs to sleep and let's set some guidelines and rules. But number 2, let's do the same for you. Mm-hmm. Right? But a lot of parents, when they're super stressed out, one of the first things they do, grab a glass of wine. Right? Wine's about the worst thing you could possibly do for sleep, to be fair. Now, I'm going to teach people how you can still have a glass or 2 of alcohol and not completely destroy your sleep. But I want to be very clear about something. If you're using alcohol as a stress relief tool at night before bed, it's messing up your sleep probably pretty bad.
You might be asleep, but the quality of your sleep is
shit. It's awful, right? And interestingly enough, during the one stage of sleep that alcohol knocks out, which is stage 3 and 4 sleep, what's the most interesting is that during that particular stage of sleep, there's something called the glymphatic system that comes in and scoops out these proteins that have a tendency to accumulate in your brain. And when proteins accumulate in your brain, they wrap around the nerves, and that's called Alzheimer's disease. Mm-hmm. So stage 4 sleep is imperative to avoid Alzheimer's disease. And when you drink alcohol, you destroy stage 4 sleep. So It would be great if nobody drank alcohol, but I'm not so stupid as to think that. Plus, I like bourbon. I like whiskey. I enjoy a glass of champagne every once in a while. So how can you successfully still drink alcohol and still get a decent night's sleep? I'm going to give you a quick one, right? Let's say you're having dinner at 6:30. Have your first glass of wine, then have a glass of water, right? Then your second glass of wine starts at, let's say, almost 7 o'clock, right? Then you have your second glass of water. Then you stop everything by 7:30. You wait 3 hours, which would be 10:30, and then you can go to bed.
Why the water? Why the wait?
So the water helps wash it through the system, also fills your stomach up so you don't have too much, so you've got more fluid in there, so that way you don't drink extra wine. And it makes you have to pee, which flushes the system out as well. The 3 hours.
And it hydrates you?
It does.
Okay.
Absolutely, because remember, wine pulls both magnesium and most water out of your system because it makes you have to go pee.
Helps with the hangover?
So there's a couple of different things that I would say. Number one, this definitely helps with the hangover because you've got water going in. For a lot of my patients, what I tell them is the very last thing that you could do is have a little bit of coconut water. So coconut water is loaded with zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B, and those are some of the things that get pulled out of your system when you're drinking. By the way, did you know that there are happy hours specific to your chronotype?
Didn't know that, no.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So here's what's cool about it is your body produces something called alcohol dehydrogenase, which is how you metabolize alcohol, but it does it at a particular time, and the time is different for each chronotype. So your body is most efficient at drinking between basically the hours of 4 and 8, happy hour, as a lot of people know it.
And how do you think about what time you eat at nighttime?
Such a great question. So 3 hours before bed, you want to stop fluids, including alcohol and food. You want to just stop it all 3 hours before bed.
Why 3 hours?
So it takes your body about that level of time to, number one, digest, clear all the food, and then have all the mechanisms that are working towards digestion now be able to be refocused onto the recovery process of sleep. However, I will tell you that there's this, I've seen a couple people, and there are people out there that are claiming that if they stop eating at 11 o'clock in the morning, that it helps their sleep dramatically at night. And it turns out it has to do with your heart rate. So one of the big metrics that is very important that all of our viewers and listeners want to know is you need a heart rate of 60 or below in order to enter into a state of unconsciousness. And when you've got food in your stomach, your heart rate is up.
That tracks.
So, right? So if the longer you can wait, the lower your heart rate is, the easier it gets into sleep. And so when we're talking about, so a great example, let's get back to parents for a second, right? You feed your kids at an earlier time, and then what do? Oh, then you go back and have dinner with your spouse, right? Maybe that's not the best idea because you're having dinner so late. Maybe you should have dinner with your kids, right? And enjoy that time with them and eat earlier because that gives you more space later on to be able to relax and go to bed.
I said that tracks because I remember, I've told this story once or twice before. I remember when I was doing some podcasts over here in LA and we had Seth Rogen on.
Sure.
And the day before in the hotel, before I lived here, I had a cookie from the minibar. Like, I'm going to admit it. I had the cookie. And
they're so good.
And then I went to bed pretty quickly.
Oh, God.
It was just fucking terrible. And I was looking at my Whoop the next day.
Yeah.
Hashtag ad.
Shunk.
And my heart rate
Straight
was
up.
like 75 or 80
Yeah.
for the first 2 to 3 hours after I got into bed.
Isn't that crazy?
And I woke up feeling like hell.
Yep.
Terrible day the next day. I was terrible during the conversation.
Yeah.
And I looked at my Whoop and go, oh my God, it was that cookie. It put my heart rate high.
So also on top of that is sugar.
Yeah, I mean, fuck me. Yeah.
Right? So sugar actually slows production of melatonin. Remember, melatonin is kind of the key that starts the engine. Yeah, the key that starts the engine for sleep.
So is there anything else that I can do to make sure my heart rate is low as I get into bed?
Absolutely. Meditate.
Okay.
Breath work. All kinds of
brings
good
my
stuff.
heart rate down.
Yeah, absolutely. So what a lot of people don't realize is just because we're breathing doesn't mean we're actually breathing in a way, shape, and form that can be helpful for us for sleep. So in my most recent book, Sleep, Drink, Breathe, I talk a lot about breath work and what is it and how does it work for you. But I'd love to teach you my favorite form of breath work and meditation that I think you'll get a lot out of. So,
and I do this before bed.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can, by the way, you can do it in the middle of the night if you wake up as well. Right? So let's talk about how to fall asleep and do some relaxation exercises for that. And then I'm going to give you some different ones for in the middle of the night. So let's talk at the beginning of the night. So number one, you need runway to land the plane. Okay? So many people think they're just waiting for their head to be bobbing in front of the TV, and then they go brush their teeth and they get in bed, and then all of a sudden they're wide awake and they don't know what's going on, right? So you need time for your system to shut down. It's not an on-off switch. It's more like slowly pulling your foot off the gas and slowly putting your foot on the brake. There's a process. It should take you about 12 to 15 minutes to actually fall asleep. Okay. So number one, what I ask people to do is take the last hour before bed and chop it up into 3 20-minute segments, right? So let's say you're going to bed at 11, starting at 10 o'clock. And by the way, set an alarm on your phone to tell you that it's 10 o'clock, because it's really easy to slide by your bedtime. And then all of a sudden it's like all bets are off. So set the alarm. 20 minutes for shit you just gotta do. So in our house, it used to be getting backpacks together for school for our kids, finding sports equipment, maybe laying out my stuff for work the next day, or getting last email sent, something like that. 20 minutes for hygiene, right? Brush your teeth, wash your face, maybe take a shower, something along those lines. And then 20 minutes for some form of meditation, relaxation, prayer. I don't care what you do, but it has to be something that's calming to get you there. Okay. So one of my favorite techniques to do is meditation. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a terrible meditator. I have never been able to do it. I've actually gotten kicked out of meditation retreats because I'm the guy that's like, what's going on? Like, am I doing it right? You know, I'm kind of that person. And so I was told about this tool called a Muse headband. We have one right here. So this is my personal Muse. I actually brought it from home. And you'll notice on the inside there are sensors here, and there are sensors along the earpiece here. And so what happens is you wear it on your head, right? And it's measuring your brain waves. And so when check it out. And so when we're doing it and we're measuring brain waves, yep, exactly. And that goes on the back part. Yeah, there you go. So what's cool about this is it's attached to an app. And then while it's measuring your brain waves, you're listening to a particular music. It could be a guided meditation. It could be any of those things. And while you're doing this, the volume gets lower. And then you know you're getting closer to a meditative state.
The volume comes down when?
On the app, when your brainwave starts to relax.
Oh, okay.
So you're immediately getting feedback. We can try it if you want. But it's pretty interesting. And then when you get to the alpha state, little birds start chirping.
The alpha state?
Yeah, the alpha state is when your eyes are closed and you're at the most relaxed state of your brainwaves. It's called the alpha state. And that's really what people are trying to get to for meditation.
And are you affiliated with this company in any way?
I am not.
And how much does it cost?
I think it's around $275, I think, is the headband.
Okay, interesting.
It's pretty fascinating. I've been pretty impressed with them.
So that's meditation. Mm-hmm. You talked about breath work as well before?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So one of the other things that I do is I do something, well, this isn't breath work. This is called progressive muscle relaxation. So this is where you tense and relax muscles, starting from your feet and going all the way up your body. And as you tense and relax the muscles, you feel that relaxation from releasing that tension, and it helps you fall asleep. Actually, you know what I can do is I can send you an audio file that has me walking through progressive muscle relaxation that we can make available for everybody if you want, for free. It's no big deal.
Amazing. I'll put that in the description below as well.
Yeah, people will really dig it. I think they'll really enjoy it. So that's another